kind of a cold, rainy day out, maybe even going to snow, so I decided I'd come in and work on this. I took the chainsaw and I cut this in half. Still got a nice birdhouse here I can use for my next one. But what I'm doing on this is I noticed that it had a little crack over here. So I've clamped it from two different directions, and then I drilled a hole from here over to here, and I inserted a dowel rod into there with a lot of glue on it, so that I'm kind of pulling these guys back together to glue it and hold it in place. And then once I start putting all my boards on the top, that'll keep it where I want it to go. But this is the start of my next one. I left the big gnarly end on the sides. This is going to be kind of a cool looking birdhouse when I'm done. So the next thing that you do is you lay out your boards that you're going to use as your backing plates or your front. In this case, I do the back first. I laid them all down, then I took the actual plug itself and laid it down on top of this and drew the circle out of approximately where it's going to go. And then what I'll do is I'll take each one of these guys off, and then I'll cut this out close to the template to what it's going to be on the back of that, and then refine it as I get a little closer. But this is the next step, is to take these guys and cut them so that they'll all fit on the back. Okay, so after I did the template, what I did was I took each one of the individual pieces and I put them over here on the jigsaw and I cut them out. Now I've flipped the piece over so that they're going to fit on the bottom, and then what you do is you put them back in place to where the template was. And what I usually do is I'll put at least one nail in a starter just to get it started, and then I know as I work my way across that they're all going to stay in place. And then I fit the next one, and then I fit the next one. And what I've done is I've gone through, and if there are two that come together that need a notch, what I do is I cut the notch out so that it could fit in place properly. And then these all go back into here. Usually what I'll do is I'll leave them on there while I'm doing this so that I don't move any of them around, and the next thing I know they don't fit. And what I'll do next is I'll work my way all the way around with just a temporary screw. And as I do this, if it looks like I'm a little long on some of the pieces that I cut because it was just a basic cut, I'll come back and trim them up a little bit. Okay, now I've got it all stained and coated, so we're going to let that dry. You know, I never have decided yet whether this is going to be the back or the front, but I'm thinking that with this big old glob here towards this side, I'm going to make this be the front. So what I'll do next is I'll let this set up and dry. I've got another project over here. I started making another one of my my little flameless candle lamps on a smaller candle, so I'm going to make a couple of those as a pair. And I'll put this over by the heater to dry, and then what we'll do is I'll flip it over and I'll make the back side and do exactly the same thing as I just showed you on the front side. And we can figure out where we're going to place the hole, how we're going to fix it and make it look nice, things like that. Okay, well, I've been a busy boy since I saw you last. I took a piece of bark and made a nice oval section of it, drilled a hole down through both in order to give the bird access. Then I took the slate that we got up in the mountain and cut it into pieces and formed kind of like a little starburst on top of this. This actually is going to sit up like this when I'm done. It's just that right now it's all drying because I've glued these on with an epoxy glue into a starburst shape. Then I took a real nice little piece of wood that had moss on it and I attached that to it there. Now I've just come back and I've teak oiled it. I like the look of the teak oil on the wood itself, plus it helps to preserve it. So when I get it all done, this is going to sit back up, and then I'll put I'll teak oil the back side as well, and then I'll put a cable across it so that it can hang on a wall or hang on a tree or whatever. But this is what I'm almost done with, and goes with the video that I posted just a couple seconds ago that you might have seen on Instagram or Flat Creek Studios or even Facebook. But anyhow, that's what it's going to look like when we're done. I like it. Okay, well, I'll remove my stupid beanie again, clean my hair up a little bit. I'm going to call it done. I've done the front end with slate from up in the mountain and cedar that I've stripped from a cedar tree. A nice piece of bark that I drilled a hole in so that the bird can get in. It's a hollow piece of cedar that I cut from that big chunk I showed you. And then on the back side, I just mounted this little cable that will hold it in place wherever we're going to stick it. And I guess about the only thing I have left to do is I'll take my Flat Creek Studio piece and I'll probably put it like maybe there, or maybe down there, I'm not sure. But anyhow, just my little logo thing that goes on. It says Flat Creek Studios. And hanging on the wall for somebody to come by, or we're going to enter into an art festival in the spring and take all of these there. I think I'm up to about, I don't know, 14 of them more now. So, although I've sold 1, 2, 3, 4 in the last month. So they're moving along. I just like making them. And there it is.